So my name is Shelley. I am the CEO and founder of a company called SXD. And basically what we do is we use AI to scale zero material waste designs. The AI that we use specifically is actually custom built AI algorithm that I have been working on with my engineering team, which consists of 3 PhD AI computer scientists. So we're really proud of what we built. To give you some context, I started this company because I grew up in Asia, where I saw how bad the waste problem is. So a lot of my favorite parks, my favorite playgrounds growing up in Asia are now filled with textile waste, filled with landfill waste. And so I wanted to come up with a new way of designing products where from the very first design plans, you're designing out waste from the start. And so for SXD, what we do is we scale these zero waste designs that not only based on the blueprint of how you cut the material, how you piece together the material, there's no material waste, but also it consumes a lot less material. So for example, a typical zero waste t-shirt that we generate uses about 40 to even 50% less fabric than a regular t-shirt that's made today. And today billions of t-shirts are made. And so at scale, this is a lot of impact, both in terms of saving of materials, but also saving on cost. And to your point about humanitarianism and thinking about how AI can also be used to do good, one of the things we really focus on is if we can actually use AI for maximum efficiency, so we can remove the waste and we can reduce the cost of materials, then we can use that savings to do good. So one of the things that my team and I were really proud of is as we create these zero waste designs, we actually hire workers who are climate refugees and pay them 2 to 4 times higher than the local wage. And we support their childcare, their healthcare programs so that they can get back on their feet and rebuild their lives after losing their homes due to climate change, due to rising sea level. And we use that saving that we save through efficient AI outputs.
And fascinating. And how are you using AI more precisely, like in this process?
Yes. So there a couple of things. So one is that we actually have gathered and created ourselves across about 15 years zero waste design data of how designs can be made in a very efficient way without waste. So when we created our algorithm, we use this as our training data for the AI to train on. And then in addition to that, we realized that to make sure that the products are really great, we had to code in additional thresholds, rules, things like that to make sure that the safety measurements, safety criteria are met, the function and the aesthetics that we want can be met through our outputs. So that's another layer of our algorithm that we use. And then I'm trying to think if there's anything else to share around that. Yeah, I would say that's mostly our algorithm. One last thing I would say is overall, it's a multivariable optimization that we apply. So we know that it's not just about being zero waste, but in the real world, people also want to make sure that the product is easy enough to manufacture, to scale, that it's not going to cost a lot more to make this product because it's so complex, for example. So we want to simplify. So we make sure through a multi-variable optimization that it's not just a great zero waste design, but also it's one that is feasible, that can be scaled.
Amazing. And what have been the biggest challenges when you started that and when
Yeah.
you try to weave AI through your process?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, this is a custom AI algorithm. And so for us, we knew that we're not like a Google, for example, that may have access to billions of data points. We're a startup and we have limited data points. But at the same time, I also think that from just the ethical side of AI, it's really important to make sure that your data is fair, that it addresses potential biases, that it serves the community that you want to serve. And so we had this limited data set, but we also wanted to make sure that our outcomes were good. And so that was definitely a challenge for us. And the way we addressed it is that we made it a very, very iterative process. I'm the founder of my company, but every other week, I actually review about 1,000 different outputs from our AI platform, even today. And we do that as a team for our company. And so the way we do it is that we train our AI algorithm. We all review the outcomes to make sure they're good. And we engage the communities we want to serve to make sure the outcomes make sense. And then we train it using the specific data points that we feel like are missing to address the issues and the biases and the problem that we see in the outcomes. And we do that over and over again. And that's the iterative process that we use.
And did you find any challenges, I would say, in terms of being a woman in that space?
Yeah, I feel like that's definitely a challenge I saw, especially when I started the company. I think now because I'm joined by three men who are PhDs in computer science, it's a little less of a thing. But when I started, yes, definitely.
And one question that, and I have been thinking about that for a while now, there is in a way this clash of using AI in the context of climate change and energy saving, etc. When in the same time we know that AI is just this hugely energy consuming gargantuan. And I was wondering what you are thinking about that.
Yeah, I think that, I mean, my understanding is that that depends on the type of AI. For us, we do not train on huge sets of data. And so actually, and are also, we serve a very, very niche purpose with our algorithm, which is to create zero material waste designs. And so actually for us, the energy consumption is very low because it's very, very limited, both in terms of scope and in terms of what we achieve. For us, really, our focus is to address something that we know is a root cause to waste for our industry, for not only fashion but also other industries, which is inefficient design, and to really, really hone in on targeting that very specific problem and only using limited data sets, just enough to solve this problem in the most efficient way. So we do try to do that to limit the energy consumption and to basically try to be precise rather than boiling the ocean with our algorithm.
Amazing. And I mean, one concept that is very dear to my heart is this logic of hybrid intelligence, so the complementarity of natural and artificial intelligence. And from what you're describing, it sounds very much like an illustration of that, with natural intelligence and a holistic understanding of, well, the self and society, and on the other hand, the algorithmic understanding. And if you can maybe give an example of where you have that human machine interaction coming out.
Yes, of course. So right now, the way we create zero waste design, I'll give a fashion example, is that we make sure that the human and the natural intelligence is used to make sure that the design, the initial design block is really great. That it's a beautiful design, that people love it. A lot of times we collaborate with some of the largest fashion brands. And so we also work with their incredible design talents to make sure that we're creating a zero waste design that works with their brand, that their customers love, that people care about. Because one of the things we always say is, no matter how sustainable a product is made, if nobody wears it, if nobody loves the design, then you're just making more waste that people don't desire. And so creating that desirability using natural intelligence, it's really core to us. But once we have that really great zero waste design block, we can use our AI algorithm to scale it. And we can scale it across many different sizes so that it's size inclusive. We can use it to scale across many different materials so that so many of this product variations can be made in a way that's zero waste. And we can also use it to scale across similar styles, so that this is something that can become the DNA of our partners, DNA of products that we see in the world. Our mission is to convert as many products to zero waste as possible. And so AI helps us do that. So I guess in this example, really, I would say the natural intelligence is a spark to create that initial data points to make sure that the designs are really great and the product is desired. And then AI becomes the conduit to make sure that you're scaling it in a way that can be accessible and can be inclusive for different sizes to reach more people.
Beautiful. And that's actually my last question, I think, or one of my last. When we think about the definition of prosocial AI, so AI systems that are tailored, trained, tested, and targeted to bring out the best in and for people and planet, where do you see the biggest challenges moving ahead?
Yeah, I think we always say within our team that the biggest misses are problems that we don't even know are there and biases that we don't even know we have. And I think that's a potential challenge with training AI, is that sometimes when you train the data sets, you don't even know that there are these inherent biases. And so one of the things that we really try to do, for example, as I mentioned before, one of our big focus is to use efficiency of zero waste designs and that savings to help workers. And so we always make sure, actually almost every day, we contact our climate refugees team. We talk to workers on the ground and we try to learn from them and also have them give us feedback on the designs we create so that we can make sure that we are not only training our data and training our AI in the right way, but we're also thinking about how to distribute the efficiency and the savings from our AI in the best way. I can give you an example of this. So when we just started using zero waste designs, we realized we can save tons on cost, like up to 55% on cost savings with zero waste designs, which is a lot that you can transfer to help workers. So my naive self thought, then let's just pay workers as much as possible because that would be more money, the better, right? More higher wages, the better. But then our local team told me that will completely destroy the balance of the local market. Because if you're paying a seamstress who's a climate refugee so high, it will create discrimination in the local market against people who are actually climate refugees. People will lie about their climate refugee status, even if they're not climate refugees, so they can get the higher wage. Also, if you pay them too high, a woman who's a climate refugee seamstress may be actually making even more than a master's student in engineering. And you don't want to have that kind of negative incentive structure in the local market. And so after learning that, we decided to change our model. And so that if people are working for us part-time, we can pay them higher, let's say up to 4 times higher than the local wage. But if they're paying us, working with us full-time or for a longer period of time, we split that benefit between higher wage, maybe just twice as high instead of 4 times. And we make sure to use some of that benefits for childcare, for added education, for feminine hygiene, for those kind of support that are not just about a higher wage. And so these are things that I've learned over time because I'm able to have local teams and who are plugged into these communities to actually teach me how to not only think about our AI output, but also how to distribute any added benefits.
Beautiful. And where can your products be found?
Yeah, so we have a website, sxd.ai, and that's where people can find us. And we actually have a form there that people can fill out to reach us. We're always really excited to work with partners and convert products to zero waste. And I would just end by saying it's not just fashion either. We started the company by focusing on garments because that's really my background and most of what I knew. But I think what's powerful about the AI platform is its scalability, even across industries. And so actually, since starting SXD, without doing any marketing or sales or even thinking about this space, we have been approached by four of the largest automakers in the world, about using our technology to remove waste from fabric, from steel, in the automotive industry as well. And so we're really interested in not just learning about how we can remove waste in fashion, but also beyond.
Beautiful. That's all from my side. I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to add, or any comments, questions that you feel have not been asked.
The only thing I will share is how impressed I have been with the power of AI when used correctly. So currently, we're actually in the process of using our AI to scale zero waste design for a very large fashion brand. And they asked for about 20 to 30 different outcomes that are zero waste design. But when we ran it through our AI platform, we actually saw about 40,000 valid zero waste designs. And the really exciting part was some of them were even better than human designs that we initially used to train it. And so I'm really excited about this space and to use it as a way to scale great ideas.